I'm just going to join the crew in being a little bit tech hindered tonight. So give me just a minute. I was afraid that machine might not work. So. Okay. Everyone ready?
Yes.
All right, let's begin. We'll call to order this meeting as a board of directors of Montara Water and Sanitary District. It's March 5th, 2026. It's 7:34 p.m. Could we have a roll call, please?
Director Champion,
Present.
Director Young,
Present.
Director Boyd,
Here.
Director Slater Carter,
Here.
Director Softy.
Here.
Okay, for the president's statement tonight, I just want to take a minute and mark the occasion that the lawsuit that Half Moon Bay brought against Montara and Granada has ended. That's the opportunity for Half Moon Bay to possibly appeal. They considered it, they chose not to. I'm sure many of us are quite relieved to be at this stage. It was very painful. It was very expensive, and far from something I said in the press release earlier. Our ratepayers are finally free of the wasteful and costly burden of this lawsuit. And through all these 9 years, Montara and Granada have remained focused on doing the work, maintaining and upgrading SAM's critical system together, as we have for over 4 decades. And now we look forward to getting back to working together and making progress on needed improvements. And I'll just leave it at that. And be grateful for the cessation of that lawsuit. I will note, well, no, I won't. I'm just going to let it go. I mean, just as a reminder for those who don't have the background, the lawsuit resulted in a very thorough and well-written opinion from the court, basically giving the victory to Montara and Granada, dismissing the claims that Half Moon Bay insisted on making, and addressing each and every one in detail and in turn, and leaving them with no win on that front. And of course, there are no winners in this kind of lawsuit. So with that, do we have oral comments for any items that are not on the agenda? I see Clemens, I see Jim Harvey, I see Sid.
No, actually.
Okay, so let's go first to Clemens, and then we'll go to Jim, and then we'll go to Sid.
Thank you. And I do actually have 2 items that are not from me. So first, we did get a request from the San Mateo County Resources Control District. They announced that they are starting to plan the annual chipper event and chipper program this year for May 26. And they're looking for ways to increase the participation. So they hear a lot of concerns about fire danger, and so they're trying to increase the participation in this program. So we are reaching out. I'm going to reply, and we're going to get some flyers that we can lay out here, and maybe post something on our website to help them increase the participation for the chipper program that is really designed to create wildfire resilience in our neighborhood. The second item, I did get a request to read an email from Greg Diegues. And so we are, of course, putting this email also in our minutes. If anyone has questions about the email, please contact me. So he says, it took just over 1 year, but it appears that RAMP has tangible momentum in our campaign to mitigate the wildfire danger in the right-of-way, that is the Caltrans right-of-way in the back of Montara. Previously, Caltrans has done isolated trimming and debris removal on the overgrown bypass. The linked CEQA document, which describes a funded Caltrans project, refers to Highway 1, but all Caltrans projects are mapped to the nearest highway. The coordinates given are in the middle of the right-of-way, and the exemptions refer to the excess land. We are still awaiting a map and a project plan showing the sections of the right-of-way involved, but are optimistic it is the entire right-of-way. So there is a link, and again, that's why I'm saying, if anybody's interested in this link, please contact the district and I can forward that link. So that is in essence a congratulations to the local RAMP group, and looks like they were successful in getting Caltrans to help with the wildfire mitigation on their property. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go to Jim Harvey, and then I also see Andrew. So Andrew after Sid. Jim. Oh.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Got it. Okay. Thank you,
Yeah,
Scott.
you're good. Jim, if you'd like to go ahead.
Okay. I hear an echo. I'm sorry. Thank you, Scott. I'd just like to congratulate the district, and I want to thank Clemens and the staff for all their hard work. I want to thank the entire board for your diligence and hard work, and Christine for her hard work. All of you, congratulations. You all did an excellent job, and you really came forward and did a super job serving the whole community. Thank you.
Jim, thank you. You were on the board and when this started, so you persisted as well.
Well, I'm not thanking myself, but
I am. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, Sid.
Well, let's let Andrew go first. He's in the public.
Okay, let's go to Andrew.
Thanks. Good evening. First, I want to congratulate you guys on the litigation. And then second off, I've raised the same Public Records Act request regarding the documentation supporting the classification of Seal Cove infrastructure at multiple meetings over the past year. Those requests have now been pending for several months without any production of records. I'm asking the board to direct staff or council to provide the responsive documents or a clear timeline for production. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Andrew. Sid.
Sure. Couple things. Reminder that on Saturday, Recology is doing their compost giveaway. And that's starting at 8 a.m. to noon. You can get 64 gallons and bring up to two 32-gallon cans, no boxes or bags, to 2200 Palmetto at the gate that's right at Hilton Way in Pacifica. And I was going to bring up the ongoing website issues as well, because I tried to look up my certificates, sexual harassment, etc. And I have quite a few trainings, but only my 2023 trainings are showing. So, and also our Form 806 only shows our 2024 committee assignments. And I know Bill and I were on strategic planning for 2025, and now 2026 isn't posted either for all the board assignments that we did in January. So we still have website issues, and maybe, I know Clemens is really busy, and you always have told us to give him any notices of stuff that needs to be updated on the website, but maybe we should have a website committee on the board that goes through everything on the website that isn't being addressed time after time and, get these things addressed. Because some of those things are, I believe, things we're required by law to have addressed or posted on our website. So I don't really care if my, sexual harassment and ethics trainings are not posted, because I know I took them. And if somebody were to ask me, hey, you haven't done it, I could show them on CSDA's website where I did take them. But last year, I know Clemens said I didn't take them, and I sent them to him because I was just about to go in to have my knee surgery. So they just didn't get posted somehow. But I think it's important to have our website up to date. And if there's anybody that wants to be on a committee with me, I mean, I have a lot of spare time because I'm retired, but I don't know if there's someone who would like to do it with me. I could come over to your house, or you could come to mine, or do a little bit of help, because Clemens has his hands full, obviously. And
So.
he was
this
just
is-
saying
Okay,
too.
we're still in public comment.
Right, I'm just saying, I noticed
We're
it.
still in public comment, so we're not
Okay.
gonna conduct business, dear.
Okay, we're not gonna conduct business, but I did notice that we did have website issues, and there was a email today from Coastside Buzz saying that she noticed there were issues too. Another thing, yesterday we had Noelia Corso come. She's the newest president of the Board of Supervisors, and she attended the meeting of the Coastside Democrats down at the Pelagic Restaurant Group at the harbor. And she gave us some updates. And one of the things that she did tell us was kind of like breaking news, because I asked her, are we going to hear any more about the former sheriff? And she said they had just received their notice that the most recent lawsuit from the sheriff the court had ruled against her, saying that they had done everything right, because she's saying that they didn't, and so now that take one more thing away from her trying to claim the county hadn't performed properly when they took her away, took her off her post. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I did attend a board meeting at down in the Half Moon Bay thing too, but they're just looking at ways to, work on their homeless problem. So that's it.
Okay, recognize Michelle Dragony.
That you're gonna represent.
Thanks, Scott. So the website is broken. It broke all of my links to Montara Water Sanitary District meetings for the last 6 years. The break happened end of October 25, I think, is the last agenda item that has links that work. I'm not sure what's going on. I've emailed you at least a dozen times to Clemens, Scott, and Catherine. Today, I added Bill and Leah and Sid because I still don't have an answer as to why your website is basically down. It's non-functional. It's breaking the Brown Act. Your website agendas have to be functional. They have to be accessible, and they have to be readable. And they are not meeting that criteria. So I know your practice is not to respond to the public, but at some point, you're going to have to respond to the public. Otherwise, you'll have to respond to Tim Fox. Thank you.
So I'm going to respond to that.
Good.
What's required under the Brown Act, and Christine, you can check me if I err on this. What's required under the Brown Act is that the current meeting agenda and materials have to be available and accessible. And that requirement under the Brown Act is satisfied and is consistently satisfied. Past records are a different matter, and they don't fall under any kind of aegis of the Brown Act. Now, that said, we like it when our website has a lot of good stuff on it. And we have gone through a pretty big shift to the new site. Things keep getting cleaned up here and there as we discover them and find them and fix them. I too have set up websites that have links to many things, and anybody who goes to montara.com will find broken links, because that's the way a lot of that stuff happens. I put a lot of work into finding and linking those things, and it takes work to keep things up to date. That said, I'm interested in anything we can do to try to close this gap that you're experiencing. But specifically the charge on the Brown Act, I got to take some issue with, because what the Brown Act is requiring is agendas for meetings that are coming up and being held. It's a current agenda issue, not all the history going back.
I'd like to hear Christine's opinion.
So Christine, do you have anything to add to what I said? And I'll see Clemens insight.
I agree. The Brown Act requires current agendas be posted on the website, and I checked it, and we're in compliance. And they're accessible under the Brown Act.
Do
Definitely.
past agendas have to be posted as well?
Nope. Do not.
No. Clemens?
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Michelle. So first of all, I want to highlight what you're actually doing, which is just an outstanding service to this community, okay? I just want to mention that there is a pattern that I'm seeing here. Sid, this is, I think, now the 4th time in a row that you're bringing up issues to the website.
About transparency.
And every time, so you brought up, for example, that we don't have the district electoral divisions on the website. We do. You have brought up that we have the don't have the divisions next to the board members. We do. So everything you have been bringing to this board in regards to this website is just not true. Okay, you are talking about right now that there are that your certificates are not online. Well, the reason is because you have not submitted them. You have a legal requirement. That is your duty to submit your compliance documents to the district.
I
so
gave it
that
to you last November though, and they're not online now. When I had my knee surgery.
yeah, but the ones that you provided are online, so we can double check that.
Okay.
However, I'm just going to say there is a constant message that this website is somehow defunct, and it is absolutely not. Every single point that is being brought up here is just not true at this point, and I'm starting to take issue with this because it feels like a pattern.
What about Form
I'm gonna go
806?
back into Michelle.
Look up Form 806.
That is the only point where I'm agreeing that there is something that needs to be updated. But
Okay.
like I'm saying, you brought a number of things up that are just not true. And this is a continuous discreditation of the district's work. I'm concerned about them. So, Michelle, again, I really appreciate what you are doing for this community. However, so you're making some accusations here that I think we have to, I think are really concerning because first of all, you're saying that the district, that we did not respond to your queries.
You did not.
No, that is not true. We have responded to your query many times. Scott has actually helped you with your query. Let me be specific. Your query, the issue with your website is currently that you, again, your service is outstanding. You've taken the links on our website. Our website links have changed, so that needs to be fixed. Michelle, that is your responsibility. It is not the district's responsibility, okay? It is standard practice to either transfer the links and leave the old website or terminate the old website and use the new links. So I'm just going to be clear. We responded. B, just to be very clear, a Brown Act accusation that we're not in compliance with the Brown Act. Before you do this, and send us a chat GPT answer over. that is maybe correct to a wrong question. I think these are very serious issues that are, being brought to this board at every board meeting now, and I see a pattern with this. If there is an issue with the website, Michelle, you've sent me emails in the past. If there was an issue, if there was a link that needed fixing, I've done it all. Same with you, Sid. So, you sent me a lot of stuff that, somebody, if there's an
Clemens, I
something like
can't,
that.
I can't access the old agendas right now. I can't do my job if I can't access the old agendas. And when you update a website, it's not actually on the user to update again, you did not answer the last email. You're supposed to update your URL, not mine. But that's fine. I get it. You're not going to do anything. So thank you very
Oh, I'm a little concerned about that last claim, Michelle. I'm looking at the agendas and I'm seeing agendas back to 2015. You said you had agendas back for 6 years. This goes back further than that. So I see agendas back to 2013 on the website right now, and I'm opening them up and they're there
On the old website or the new website?
on our website.
MWSD.net.
It's right there. I'm seeing January 17th, 2013 at the bottom of the page. I have things I'd like to see improved on the website myself. I think we all probably do.
Okay,
this is-
so I'm playing the same thing. I'm on July 17th, 2025, and I go to click on approve minutes, and the minutes come up as a 404. It's not the agenda itself, it's the attachments to the agenda. So that means all the staff reports, all the attachments don't work.
Well, I think we'll take some look at this.
Are you
Um,
seeing that, Scott, or not? I'm not crazy. I mean, I'm a Webby.
Well, tell you what, I mean, why don't you and I get coffee and we can talk a little bit?
And I don't want to say I'm being critical. I'm just finding sometimes I can't find stuff on here.
Yeah.
I'm not Susie Technology.
Okay, so
It's
we're-
just
Scott,
something
coffee's
interesting.
great.
We're-
Coffee's great,
we're
Scott.
now-
Thank you.
we're now well into
Yeah, never
what
mind.
could be, anyway,
And I appreciate your latitude,
So-
Scott. Thank you.
so, one thing I encourage anyone to do, if you find something you click on it and you get a 404 because it's not there, drop us a note.
Okay,
That
sounds
that
good.
kind of thing is helpful. That kind of thing can be actionable. And until we've done that, it's like we haven't done anything at all. So like in my work, I don't want to hear a complaint until someone's actually filed a trouble ticket. And in this case, the trouble ticket is, hey, Clemens, I went to this link, it didn't work. And I think that's something that is not that hard to deal with. Those things are going to happen on a website with thousands of links. That kind of thing's gonna happen. Catherine?
Michelle, I'm on a 2023 map. So it's not brand new, and I'm looking at the January 17th, 2013. I just looked at the district elections map. I got on this tonight when I came in. Problem is.
I'm not looking at the maps. I'm looking at the agenda attachments and the items. The map's not relevant.
I told you I'm looking at an agenda from January 17th, 2013. And yeah, I can get a download original PDF, I can get a print PDF. I think a lot of the times anymore, the systems are so complex that I find this to be beyond annoying, frankly. It used to be that this was supposed to be simple stuff. It was, not anymore. So I appreciate your meeting with Scott. And we can move on from there.
Bill?
Just a minor comment as a lifelong technologist about this entire thing. The whole giant problem with all digitally recorded stuff is keeping it in synchronization as old stuff gets more and more out of date and new protocols show up. So the problem with 404s for old things, it's almost inevitable that some kind of links somewhere in the past are going to have to be let go. because we're busy writing new links and trying to make sure. So basically, the more past there is, the more cost there is to maintain it unless you have a kind of an ongoing triage. So it's unfortunately, Michelle, I understand that things that you're leaking to in COSI Buzz are gone. And it would take a certain amount of effort, and I have no idea how much effort that is or what's gone, and it's not my business. I'm just saying the nature of technology is that things like synchronization problems in particular are huge. Scott is invited to disagree with me if he wants to.
Oh, no, I'm not gonna downplay that at all. I mean, there's a reason that Montara.com has a bunch of broken links. It takes more work than I'm willing to put into it to go fix them. I have in the back of my mind, one day I retire and I bring it all the way up to date. That'd be great. In the meantime, I'm looking forward to coffee. Michelle, I have a place in mind. I think you'll agree. It's a good one. And well, we can talk this out. I've got a few ideas. We might be able to come up with something. Okay. So
no website committee. That was my suggestion.
I'm
You're the committee.
not interested in signing up for a committee.
Right.
But I'm happy to have coffee with Michelle
Okay.
and chat.
I think she's probably the best one to talk to.
You got Andrew still.
So
Yeah, Andrew also had issues about stuff that wasn't getting taken care of, so.
Oh, he did speak already. That's right.
yeah,
And I think we have,
so I'll run it. I'm pretty good at with where we are. I think we now have the consent agenda. Do we have any items directors would like to pull for consideration? And if not, can I have a motion?
I'll second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second, and all votes now are roll call votes. Could we have a roll call,
Director
please?
Champion,
Aye.
Director Young,
Sorry, we're to
We're
approve
doing the
it, yes,
consent, yeah,
I approve.
Director Boyd,
yes.
Director Slater Carter,
Yes.
Director Softy.
Yes.
Okay, the consent agenda is approved. No old business tonight. We have new business. Item 1, review and possible action regarding MWSD's participation in the San Mateo County Local Hazard Mitigation Plan, which we'll
Yeah.
be calling LHMP. Oh, I gotta get all the way through the long thing you typed here, Clarence.
Okay,
The plan update, the LHMP update on, and including Sewer Authority Midcoastside, SAM in MWSD LHMP Annex. All right.
thank you, Scott. So for me, this is going to be very quick. You are all aware that we participate in the San Mateo County Local Hazard Mitigation Plan. This has been very successful. We've received some funds through this, particularly the Sewer Authority Midcoastside has received funds through MWSD's participation. So this was a very successful model that we developed here. And we would like to continue this model, and there is some updating required. And so I would like to hand this over to the district water engineer, Tanya Yurovsky. And Tanya, Tanya has a presentation and details for us. But ultimately, the recommendation is to authorize the participation of MWSD in the 2026 San Mateo County Local Hazard Mitigation Plan and include the Sewer Authority Midcoastside in the Montara Water and Sanitary District Annex. Tanya.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Clemens. Mr. Chair, members of the board, thank you for allowing me this opportunity tonight. I am going to share my screen. As the general manager mentioned, this is the presentation about the local hazard mitigation plan annex for 2026. The reason we're talking about an annex is that the San Mateo County is in charge of the multi-jurisdictional local hazard mitigation plan. We have participated with the county in 2021, which was 5 years ago. The program does get revised, updated every year. It's required. It's a requirement with the purpose of reducing risks from natural disasters for everyone in San Mateo County. The program will outline the threats, assess vulnerabilities, and identifies mitigation actions. Very important aspect of the program is incorporating public feedback. So the proposed plan in 2026 will update the 2021 plan. For most of you probably don't recall, but we have participated with the district, participated previously before we were able to, the program has changed somewhat, and we were able to join the San Mateo County through an annex as a special district. We previously participated with the ABAG, the Association of Bay Area Governments, on a similar plan. But now that the San Mateo County has this plan, that is a much more conducive and straightforward plan for us to participate in. MWSD, if the board chooses to participate tonight, will be a planning partner and is designated by this program as a special purpose district. The only districts that are only the districts, special purpose districts, are allowed to participate through an annex. We also, this board, chose to support the Sewer Authority Mid-Coast site in 2021 and cover the Sewer Authority as a sub-applicant in the MWSD annex. That very important step by this board brought quite a bit of funding, and this is what's so important to discuss. The Robert T. Stafford Act requires jurisdiction like MWSD to participate in current LHMPs to pursue and receive federal funding. What is very important is FEMA has two programs. One is post-disaster. If there's a federal disaster declared in the area, agencies and municipalities are eligible to apply to FEMA for reimbursement for actual losses incurred. However, there is a very, very critical and important program that is a pre-disaster mitigation program. And that is the program that provides grants to agencies, municipalities, and counties to prevent disasters, prevent the impact of the disasters. In that program, to participate in it, jurisdictions must participate in LHMP and update it every 5 years to remain eligible. And that assistance is critical and of critical importance to this district and to SAM. Just to remind you, the SAM received $500,000 in FEMA pre-disaster funds in last year to support the move of the electrical equipment at their treatment plant to reduce the risk of flooding. And it's a critical project that needs to happen, and $500,000 covered the design of the program, of the project. Now we would like to talk about the LHMP update that's current. The Sanitary County Department of Emergency Management is leading this effort. We are responsible for updating the annex from the 2021 plan, and we must document public engagement, feedback, and how we incorporated it. So this is the first meeting that is a public meeting for our annex. Again, if the board chooses to participate tonight. And we propose to update the elements, including asset replacement values, risk assessment, and the proposed projects, which are hazard mitigation actions. And there's a long list. We're including everything that we can think of in that list to be eligible. Now, the projects don't have to be specifically listed to be eligible, but it's better than, we are better off to show to the California Office of Emergency Management and FEMA our readiness, and we are quite ready. To date, we have participated in the tutorial, which is, these are mandatory steps that are required for us to participate. This was in January. Last month, we participated in the stakeholder workshop. And by the end of the month, we submitted the preliminary forms created by the Sanitary Department of Emergency Management to support the MWSD Annex update. The next steps in this process, we tonight requesting this honorable board to approve to participate in the program. In April, the county will provide our annex draft back to us for a 2-week review and comment period. So staff will review that. In May, the county will compile the full LHMP and release the draft for a 30-day public comment period. And in June, July, the draft will be, the final draft will be submitted to the State of California Office of Emergency Services. And then the state will submit to FEMA for review and approval. As far as that is concerned, the state is the applicant or the main body that deals with FEMA directly, and everyone else submit their plan, and we are the annex to the plan. These are next steps continued, meaning this slide just deals with the board actions. Again, we're requesting an approval to participate tonight. There will be another action that will be required of this board. The board will be asked to consider adopting a universal resolution as required by FEMA to accept grant funding. This is very similar. It's the same language to the one adopted in 2022 by this board. This will be brought to you for your consideration at a future board meeting, probably later in the summer, because the previous resolution is about to expire. The very important items to discuss tonight and to bring to this board, we proposing public engagement actions by MWSD and SAM. So this is our first public meeting where we're discussing the annex and talking about the future board meeting where you will be presented for your consideration with the universal resolution to adopt. We propose to post the flyer that you see on the slide on the district's Nextdoor account. It's very effective and it distributes to a lot of people, residents locally. The flyer should also be posted at the district office and post offices. And if possible, to inform the customers and the district's ratepayers of the LHMP update on the websites, both MWSD and SAM. And I think that is all, and I'd be happy to answer any questions and discuss any more detail that you wish to hear.
Okay, let's go first to Sid and then to Bill.
Tanya, thank you. That was really thorough. I have several questions. First of all, I'm fully in favor of going ahead with it. I know we were really instrumental in getting Sam their money this past time. My recollection is that we were the only other district, including Half Moon Bay and GCSD, that applied for it before. Is that right?
May I just clarify, applied for the money?
To be went through the whole process of being an LHMD. We went through, it's a big application, right? Very lot of work to go through that whole process.
It was initially, it's not so much more work this year. This
No,
time.
because you did it before,
Yeah.
right? So I remember hearing Barbara Dye say she tried to fill out all the forms and they just gave up at GCSD. And I don't know if Half Moon Bay did theirs, but I don't think they did because they didn't help out Sam when it happened, when the sewer plant overflowed or nearly overflowed. So I think it was so important that we had gone through the effort to do it, and we actually had applied. So I'm totally in favor of it, and it won't be as much work this time because we've already done it in the past, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so the one thing I wanted to know, well, I'm glad you're gonna put it on next door, but I think don't just say LHMP because a lot of people won't really know what that is. You know, people, basic people that are on next door all the time that never heard about it. But when you say for our own district that you're going to have a long list, will Seal Cove be part of the list if we were able to get funding and some kind of, you know, disaster were to come across, you know, where we needed to upgrade things? Would you have, you were not gonna rule out Seal Cove? Would you be able to upgrade the pipes in Seal Cove, for instance, that are deteriorating?
I can answer that. If there is anything that applies.
Like the
Regardless of
overground-
where this is in the district, we're applying for it.
Okay,
As we just showed, otherwise, so we're applying for any project that is worth in the district.
okey-doke, sounds good. And then, let's see. I think that was my main question, is that you wouldn't be ruling out a certain neighborhood or anything like that. It would apply through the whole district. And it was so great that we were able to give, the sewer authority mid-coast side the money this past year when, or 2 years, when they had the, needed the money for the storm, problems. Thank you.
All right, Bill.
Thank you, Tanya. That was incredibly thorough, as far as I can tell, regarding everything about the bureaucratic process. So since the federal government is radiating everything downward, it has to go through so many layers and so many subsections of sections and whatever. I'm glad you guys have it covered, and I totally believe those are the things we need to do. But they're actually the three biggest questions I still haven't learned about. So I'll break it down into three, but I'd like to talk about each one at a time rather than lob them off and get all the answers jumbled together. So the first is essentially how much money might we get and when? The second is what obligations do we now have? Because in general, anytime anyone receives money, all of a sudden there are more hoops to jump through and more things to prove or something. And then the final one is, where is the board input? These sound like strategic investments. And if we're looking at making new investments or things in our district, I would assume the board is the place to start writing this annex. But it sounds like the annex is almost written already and we just get to say yes or no at the end. So those are the three questions, just one at a time.
Thank you. Thank you for, those are very important questions. I think I'm gonna start with the last one because I think that's most critical. The projects that we're putting in is other projects that are currently in the capital improvement program that has been presented to the board and will be presented to the board again. The general manager brings it to the board right before every year, right before the budget cycle, the budget is approved.
Okay, cool, thanks.
And an add-on to that, in response, I would like to point out that if the project is not listed, it doesn't, we come up with a new project or something happens in the meantime, it doesn't preclude this project from being funded. So we're showing our readiness by showing what is in the capital improvement program, but we're not limited to that list. And that list is quite extensive.
Beautiful, thanks.
The other question was the amount of money. The grants are between $500,000 up to $3 million.
Okay.
And those are FEMA grants. I would like to point out that before this I think it's very important to note, before the LGMP process was started by the county and we were able to participate through an annex, to get the pre-disaster mitigation grant was absolutely impossible because the state would distribute the money to the largest jurisdictions because where where the taxpayers, more taxpayers live. For example, some years ago, I was able to write a grant and get $3 million to SFPUC to support SFPUC for their seismic fault crossing pipeline repair. That supported 2.4 million people. So in that, we were at disadvantage in those days because of our size. But now this program allows us to be on par. And that you see the results. You see that Sam got the money.
Okay.
And I think there was another question is what
Yeah, what obligations does this bring to us that might not be obviously, we have to fill out lots of forms. But insofar as we're committing to something in the future, is there anything you haven't mentioned already?
The grant has to be managed. It's a minor cost. Because there are forms to submit and to ask for reimbursement and so on. To prove the costs were expended properly. That is not a huge investment. What is important is actually to spend the money in a proper way, fashion. If the agency receives the grant, gets awarded the grant, but unable to complete the work for one reason or another, these things happen, then the repayment has to happen. Then the FEMA would demand repayment. I don't know if anyone ever happened to experience that, any agency. I'm not aware of any, but it's possible, of course. And I think the highest risk is with the cost of construction at presently, $3 million barely covers a project, and most projects are higher cost than that. So before accepting the grant, the agency must consider whether or not there is another portion that will be covered by the agency, by the owner.
Okay, cool. That's pretty clear. That's what I needed to know. Thanks.
All right, Catherine.
Do we have any questions from the audience? I'd like to make a motion.
I don't see any.
Here.
Comments?
So I received an email from Greg Diegas that I would like to read out, or I was asked to read out. I will be unable to attend this Thursday's MWSD board meeting, but please pass on to the board my endorsement of MWSD's continued leadership in the local hazard mitigation plan and FEMA planning. While FEMA may disappear under the current federal administration, I have hopes it will return in 3 years under a future administration. Plus, there is climate bond funding from California, maybe Measure K money from San Mateo County, and perhaps other sources to come. It will benefit us all for MWSD to register our needs via the LHMP process. Further, I believe there are other leadership or co-sponsorship roles MWSD can play in our community on matters of water, sewer, stormwater, wildlife, telecommunications, etc. I hope to discuss those other matters with you and the board in the near future. As the best positioned representative agency for the Mid-Coast, I encourage MWSD to play a key role, if not lead, in public works infrastructure matters here. Thank you.
I'd like to move that we authorize the participation. I'm making it's my turn to speak.
I just wanted a question before you.
Hold,
All right,
Thank you.
please.
I'd like us to authorize the participation of MWSD in 2026 San Mateo County LHMP and include sewer authority mid-coast side in the Montara Water and Sanitary District Annex.
Second.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded. Now let's go to further discussion.
Yes, Tanya, I forgot to ask one question. Is this gonna go for another 5 years from 2026 on? For 5 years like the last LHMP did?
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you. I forgot to ask that before. Thanks.
I'm gonna mention that this came up at the SAM meeting earlier this week. And Half Moon Bay will be applying and qualifying for this. And suggested that they might also be available to help bring SAM under their umbrella. If, you know, so, and they actually offered, since it was their understanding. And understandable, given what they had heard from folks they were talking to. They were offering, if we needed to be under an umbrella, they would be willing to help us out. So. Hey,
That was
it's
kind.
it's a new era, so yay for that, but I think. Clearly, Tanya and team have this pretty well in hand. And I'm very supportive of this.
And I
So-
think they were really surprised when we gave Sam that money without any strings or anything before.
It's a good kind of
Yeah,
surprise.
it
All right.
was.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Seeing no further questions or discussion, let's have a roll call vote, please.
Director Champion,
Aye.
Director Young,
Wholeheartedly, aye.
Director Boyd,
Aye.
Director Slater Carter,
Yes.
Director Softy.
Absolutely.
Motion carries 5-0.
All right, thank you.
Unanimous.
Thank you, Tanya. I really appreciate how well you laid that out. And this is part of what it takes to. It's great when the federal government is willing to hand out money, but they don't hand it out just willy-nilly. And qualifying and laying the groundwork, doing all the homework, filling out all the forms, managing all the process, that's a really necessary part. Do it. Montara has enjoyed a number of grants, thanks to hard work like you're doing, Tanya, at SRT on behalf of the district. So thank you very much.
We'll fill out forms.
Thank you.
All right. We are now to reports.
You want to handle sewer authority mid-coast side?
I just handled part of it. It was a brief meeting
Great.
and
It was all good.
yeah,
I did say that I would like to have a strategic planning session for Sam, now that the lawsuit is over. I did not hear much in the way of acceptance from the other member agencies. I'm hoping it will happen. But whether it does or not, we will just proceed relying on the local, on our joint powers agreement and policies as in place.
my read on it was give it a minute. We're just fresh off of this conflict and let things kind of settle. That was the read I got from the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's good for us to be forward and extending the hand of collegiality. We have a lot of work that we have to do, and it really only works when we do it together. So you put that out there. And, I wouldn't really expecting people to just like
Yeah.
just immediately go, all's good, you know, it's gonna take a minute.
Thinking about this for a long time, having heard comments from other SAM board members about consolidation and other kinds of things. And so I would like to know where the other member agencies would like, what they'd like to see SAM
Yeah.
involved with.
Now would be a good opportunity to point out something that we put out in our press release. And that is that anyone who wants to talk about consolidation, they really are sincere about trying to get the benefits of a consolidation. The best way to make that point would be to encourage productive cooperation in the current consolidated joint powers authority known as the Sewer Authority Mid-Coast side. We already have a consolidated body with charged with the responsibility to conduct the business of a consolidated operation. We have a consolidated administrative team, we have a consolidated operations team, we have a consolidated in the field service team, all operating under the title of the Sewer Authority Mid-Co side. We have participants from 3 different agencies, yes. But I think a point is best made by someone supporting the current structure and doing everything and saying, here are the things that we're doing well. And then if you want to say, if we went to another layer of consolidation, here's what we could do better. But until we're actually supporting it well, all the rest is a little hard to take seriously. But if you're really serious about making this function super good, let's start with what we have, make that super good as much as we can. And when we run out of room to make it as good as it needs to be, only then do we talk about maybe we try something different. That's my take on it right now. So
To that note, I did attend the Harbor District meeting, and they offered to let the sewer district pile up some pipes and stuff on their lands for the intertie pipeline project. So that was some cooperation that I noticed, because it was for the good of the benefit of the whole coast side.
Yeah.
So that's a plus.
no, it's and there's a whole lot of that kind of cooperation that doesn't take massive action. It takes a will to work together. Bill?
This is a preview of something I'm going to be writing about in more detail, which is essentially what kinds of consolidation mean what and which ones ought to be used or ought to be avoided. And the most obvious, the title I intend to have is Fire is Global and Water is Local. And it comes from having watched a couple of years ago, I think at a CSDA meeting, the guy who started the idea of the fire shed in San Luis Obispo County. The idea is when you've got raging winds and embers traveling over ridges, administrative boundaries make very little sense, and therefore all the agencies need to have a collaboration ability which responds fast in time. And so fires are a particular thing. Water is almost exactly the opposite, either sewage or fresh water, because it flows downhill and it has to be pumped uphill. It doesn't jump over ridges. There's no such thing as a windstorm, which will carry our sewage to Half Moon Bay. So it makes much more sense to be local, to treat the sewage and the water as close to the place of use as possible as a general principle, because you have pipes in the ground and you need people who know those pipes in this ground, not just generic pipes, because we have a specification for what a pipe is. So administrative consolidation is in general a really dumb idea when you're dealing with in the ground infrastructure, and yet administrators gonna administrate. That's what they do. Like haters gonna hate, administrators gonna administrate. So there's always big fish who think that they can get some credit for organizing things. So I think we should probably be as unorganized as possible and have our version of consolidation, what I hear as collaboration.
You really give us a vivid image of the windstorm that carries sewage far.
Well, I'm proud of the vividness. I hope you sleep well.
Well, before the tunnel, when the slide was out, you might remember there was a lot of online discussion about possible solutions. And one of my favorites was the guy who wanted to have was it pink elephants with balloons ferry over the mountain? And there was much concern about the possible deposition of waste material along the way. I think we had someone, Catherine.
Just a quick point, consolidation is a noun and it applies to combining any two things. Generally, it is used as if it's a positive. But in fact, as Scott mentioned, we are consolidated with Sam. And there are the economic efficiencies of further consolidation of these agencies are not to be had. We still need the same number of crew. We need the same number of management. Their titles might change, but they'd still be managing the same areas and so on and so forth. what we would be losing is in consolidation of governance is local representation. And so we need to tell people if this comes up, that if you want to be governed by a larger government agency, those invariably become inefficient. And so any perceived efficiencies would be lost in the long run. And in the short run, the voice for your voice in your community's business would be lost.
Okay, Sid,
Long time ago, when Half Moon Bay Review had guess you would call it a blog section called Talk About, I had. It's a big moth, a post that I had the image of Frankenstein, and I said, should we merge? And it got the most posts of everything until Clay shut it down. And the idea was, how can you merge a city, a water and sanitary district, and then just the sanitary parks district? The three are different objects, and you would have to stitch them all together. And my biggest issue is we've nearly paid for our water completely here. That bond is gonna be paid off in 2028. And I really am skeptical of merging with two other districts that haven't paid for any of their water. Maybe, okay, CCWD has built some infrastructure for their water since we bought ours, but it's mostly, they still import a lot of their water from over the hill. So, I don't know. And you're right about having a city running their infrastructure they're secretive about it, so I don't know. It would be interesting.
all right, well,
I just gonna say I agree both with Bill and Kathy.
okay. All in favor of the
Say-
pink elephants? So like that
think-
wasn't on the agenda.
Yeah, Carl's still around. I spoke to him the other day.
Oh, good,
Speaking of
good.
big elephants.
Now,
Was
see
it
that.
Carl May that did the
Yeah,
big elephant
Yeah,
thing?
yeah,
Oh,
that
wow.
was definitely thinking out of the box. The other recommendation I loved a lot was the suggestion of the trebuchet to throw people over the mountain. It seemed a little kinetic, so I was a little concerned, but
Ricochet and parachutes.
How about a funicular?
I know,
it's,
we could do the gondola that Ray was promising for.
oh, well.
We could just do that anyway.
Okay, so I'll just end with like one comment, then we'll move on to the rest of the agenda. If consolidation means bigger, and if bigger is better, we can just cut out the middleman and just have the county run it all.
Oh,
Yes.
there's gonna be a target.
Anyway.
Okay, so that was offered in the spirit of
Mhm.
a modest proposal. Like,
Yes.
as you recall, let's yeah. Okay, so do we have anyone to speak for Midcoast Council?
Yeah, I am thinking we need to strongly consider removing Mid-Coast Council. It has been stated by the past chair that the Mid-Coast Council does not represent the community. They have not wanted to include certain portions of member agencies of our community of agencies in their programs or in their meetings. And so I think we need to strongly consider getting rid of it on our agenda. It wouldn't save much time, but then again, they're not doing much either, so.
You introduce an agenda. I'd love to talk about that, just not now.
Yeah, no, we can introduce it as a future agenda.
Okay. All right, CSDA report.
There is a CSDA meeting locally next Friday, and there is a CSDA meeting coming for the statewide. And Leah and I attended the new financial requirement study session or lessons. It was very useful. And it was presented very well by an auditor who very clearly explained things. So it was nice. There was a lot of content in 2 hours. I may even take it again. It is free on the CSDA site.
All right, now,
Also, on April 7th, they have Legislative Day up in Sacramento, and the CSDA annual conference is online to register now, but it's August 24th. I think there's a cutoff for the special room rates and registration special pricing for both of them.
Right, I'll be attending.
Mhm. I probably will too.
okay, let's see.
Remember to get your
I will.
approval.
I will get my approval from Clemens.
Okay, so just to not get too familiar with these acronyms, CSDA, California Special Districts Association. The next item, LAFCO or Local Agency Formation Commission report. Okay.
We haven't had a meeting recently. I don't know what's on the upcoming agenda.
Okay,
It's quarterly.
all right, Christine, anything for the attorney's report?
Thank you, President Boyd. I have no report, but as long as I have the floor, I might as well take the opportunity to make the statement for the record as required under the Political Reform Act that Director Young will be recusing herself from and not participate in the closed session item related to Seal Cove because her personal residence is located within the affected area and therefore she has a financial conflict of interest under Government Code Section 87-100 due to her interest in real property. She will leave the room before that item is discussed.
Is there another agenda item before that I need to stay for?
Yes.
Okay,
Oh, yes. Thank you.
all right. Thank you.
All right, let's see, director's reports. General manager's report, anything in addition to your written report?
Nothing in addition to the, thank you.
Okay, which is in the agenda, which is on the website. We identified an item for our future agendas. I'd like to tee that up when we have a moment on the whether or not to continue having the Midcoast Council on the regular agenda. Yes, Sid?
Since we did solve the lawsuit now and our strategic plan is 11 years out of date and Bill and I are on the strategic planning committee, can we now have a agenda? I mean, can we now have a committee meeting for that?
So I will get an email from the consultant with availabilities and we'll take it from there.
So that's a yes. We can have a meeting.
So committee meeting will be called when it's needed. As I said,
So
and
the thing in front is to get the availability from the consultant.
yes,
Okay.
Okay.
I would suggest that we review the existing one and see if it needs changes.
Oh, yeah, 11 years. It's
Time
pretty
to-
out of date.
Oh, I guess we should change the constitution too.
All right, we're moving on now. So we will be ending the public session. We're going to reconvene in closed session after PCT tears down. And our thanks always to PCT for being here and helping out and recording. We're really glad that PCT was able to, I believe we requested that PCT go video the meeting that,
Yes.
that the supervisor had at his office down in Princeton. We're just really counting on PCT. Thank you very much for that. In closed session, we're going to discuss 2 items. One is going to be about the lawsuit now ended with Half Moon Bay. And the other is about 12 potential cases in the Seal Cove of anticipated litigation. With that, we are in recess and we'll reconvene shortly. Thank you all for coming.